Okay, so hey, hi guys, hello and welcome to my next lecture onto this chef series. So guys, this is would be my third lecture, and this is actually lecture 18. And onto this particular lecture, we are going to learn three things. So I would go very fast onto this lecture because I have already told you guys how a chef works and how to write a basic command. So everything is the same. It's going to be a very simple command. If you guys it's going to be a very simple lecture if you guys remember the commands of chef. They are hardly 3 to 4 commands. You just need to just learn them up, guys. It's very easy, right? So if you know the basic commands and you have followed my previous lecture, this lecture is going to be a piece of cake for you guys. It's very easy. It might look that there are a lot of things that we are going to do, but we are going to do only three things, and everything is interconnected. So very first thing is that in our recipe we are going to make use of some Linux command, because it may be required that at some point of time, you know there is you are writing your recipe, and onto that you need to write some Linux command. So there is a particular way with the help of which you can do that, right? So you need to know how to incorporate Linux command onto your recipe, and recipe contains the Ruby code, right? I hope we all know this particular phenomena. And the second thing we are going to do is that we are going to run one recipe from each of the cookbook. So there can be multiple cookbook, like cookbook for Linux, cookbook for Windows, cookbook for CentOS, and they may contain their own different recipes, right? So we are going to just run one recipe from each of the cookbook, and after that there is also a way via which we can run all recipes from all the cookbooks, right? So it's going to be a very easy lecture. It may take a little bit of time, so please be with me. And it's very simple. So allow me to start the lecture without wasting any further time, right? So the very first step is that we need to create an EC2 instance. We need to update it. We need to download Chef. Once it is installed, then we'll be creating a cookbooks and then installing trees. So this part we have already been doing from the very first lecture of the chef, right? So don't count this in step as it step one. There are just 2 to 3 steps in which everything would be done. So allow me to start. So here I am onto my AWS management console. I'm going to make an EC2 instance up and running. I'll do it very quickly, very fast, so that we can devote time to our main lecture. Yeah, I can give some of the name. Name would be like machine config. Any name you can give. Security group, security group, chef. Any name you can give. Add HTTP anywhere, review and launch, and just launch it. I do have my own key pair. I acknowledge launch instances. So it is actually getting launched. Let it get launched first, and then we'll proceed ahead with our lecture. So guys, if you have already followed my lecture, you have already done all these things. You do not need to do all these steps again, because in this particular availability zone Mumbai, I deleted my last instance. This is the reason why I am iterating each and everything, and it might help to those who have not seen my previous lecture, so they will also get to know how to do the very first step, how to install chef onto their workstation. Okay, click over here, just refresh it. Yeah, now it is up and running. Click on instance ID, you will get the public IP, and with the help of this public IP, what we do, guys, we simply log in into our EC2 instance, right? So I hope you guys are not forgetting the basic concepts. Click on yes, click on accept. I prefer console as I already told you guys, so this is an extra bit of effort required just for me. Login as EC2-USER user. That's it. Your machine is up and running fine. Okay. Elevate your privileges. and you need to be a root user in order to do the updation of an EC2 instance, right? So yum update hyphen y. First, you need to update your machine. Why? Everything I told you guys in my previous lecture. Please follow along that, and this lecture would be a piece of cake, right? Okay, so my EC2 instance has been updated. After that, the second step was that I need to install the chef over here. So allow me to copy it. Wget followed by the URL will simply download that particular file onto the directory which you are willing to, I mean, download it, right? You do ls, you see the file has got downloaded over here successfully, right? And after that, what you need to do, you need to install it, because we are simply doing chef lecture, so we need to install that, right? This is the basic thing everybody knows. chef hyphen enter tab, it gets auto completed, and then put y, yes, and good to go. So your chef is also getting installed. I'm going to make my cookbooks, that is outer directory. In my previous I think I've shown you guys. Again, I know there are some people just like me, who do not see the previous lecture and want to learn each and everything in just one go. I know there are a lot of people just like me. So guys, this was, the last to last lecture. I think I covered it all. This is the mutton curry recipe, and this was the outer cookbooks. Cook, C-O-O-B-K-B-O-O-K-S. So this is a plural, I hope you guys know. And into this particular thing there would be multiple cookbooks, uh, and those cookbooks would be containing the recipe. This was the architecture that we've learned earlier, right? So I think my chef has got installed. So in order to check it, chef hyphen double hyphen VERSION, it will give you the chef version, right? So both the commands you can use. Okay, then we had to make a cookbook. I'm sorry, it is S appended. This cookbooks has been created onto your directory, and now we need to go inside the cookbook to create a recipe. Okay, over here I need to install tree. Why we are installing tree? So that we can get a tree like structure. So guys, over here my first step has been done. Now the actual lecture starts from step 2. Okay, go to your cookbooks outer directory, that is this directory, the outer file, and now create a cookbook specific to something particular, like cookbook for Windows machine, cookbook for Linux machine, right? And then write your recipes. Okay, so I'm inside my cookbooks. I am going to make a new, no, I'm sorry. So over here, in order to generate a particular cookbook, there is the command known as chef generate. So with the help of this particular command, you can generate your cookbook, you can generate your recipe as well. So chef generate cookbook, cookbook for Linux, right? I hope I'm using the same thing. Sorry, Linux cookbook, I used it. I'm going just word by word in order to avoid wastage of time, because sometimes some issues occur. So here I've created my cookbook. Let it get created. So your book is ready, right? And in order to write something onto this particular book, you need to go inside that book. So ls cd Linux cookbook, we are inside this particular cookbook, and we do not have any recipes defined over here, right? So now we are going to create some of the recipes. As over here I have mentioned, we are generating a Linux recipe. So my recipe has got generated, and guys, once we know that our recipe got generated successfully, we just get out of this particular folder and back to the main your cookbook. On the book for which you are doing something, you go that particular location. So just cd dot dot, and you are, Linux cookbook. And if you want to now write something, the name of your recipe is Linux recipe. So now we are going to write something. So we went inside our Linux cookbook, we generated a recipe, and then we came back outside of that book, right? And now we are going to write something. Everything, guys, I've already explained it. I'm just going over here to make you guys understand how to make use of Linux command, right? So all these things we have already done earlier. So the command over here is that, you know this command would be doing something. So what it is going to do something, it will run a script, right? And EOH. So what do we mean by EOH? It means end of here, kind of something stuff. And if anything which is written inside the EOH will make sure that whatever commands you write onto Linux, they will run as a Linux. So there you won't be getting any sort of error, right? So this is a Ruby script. Into that you are in order to make use of a Linux command, you have to use this hyphen EOH. So just copy and paste it over here. Let's see what happened. Script ape colon WQ. Okay. So in order to check that whatever you have written is working fine or not, the syntax is okay or not, you need to go to your cookbook, go to your recipe, and whatever you have written XYZ, you need to check whether the syntax was okay or not. Please check it over here. And I think there is some issue. Even I am very bad at remembering, guys, the command. The syntax is actually fine. Whatever the code we wrote onto our particular Linux recipe, that code is fine. So we just need to run it. So the command is chef client hyphen zr, that we are going to run it locally, and r means run list. Run list basically means that whatever you define, I mean the order you define in that particular way, things are gonna get run, right? So just name of recipe, double colon, name of cookbook, Linux cookbook, and the name of recipe, that is Linux recipe, right? That's it. Let's see what happens. Okay. So what, there was a certain code that I wrote it over here, and I think it has executed properly, right? So what I wrote over there, that I wanted to make a directory named as user1 directory onto this forward slash over here means that I want to make directory in my root folder, right? And I want to create a file into the root directory of, I sorry, I do not should not ever use folder in Linux when we are talking about it. It is a directory. It just the names are different, right? So in the root directory there should be this directory, and in the root directory there should be this file. So we need to check that, right? Cd ls, do some ls. So see over here, ls hyphen lrt, if I do it, so there is your file and there is your directory, both got created successfully. So this is how inside, the Ruby script, the Ruby code, you can make use of this Linux file. That's it. This was the whole essence of this particular thing. The only thing that I wanted to make you guys understand, that you can even use your Linux command onto a Ruby recipe, right? So that's it. And Linux command, if you want over here, you can do yum install Apache, you can install Git, you can do anything. Let's say you wanted this computer system to have Apache, Git, and you wanted Docker itself to install, you would have written that, and it would have done simply, right? Everything would have done. But just in order not to waste so much of time onto this very easy phenomena, I think you guys can do it yourself. That may be your homework. Create a system, write a recipe that contains some Linux command, and make sure that Apache server is started. You echo some particular file on var slash www slash html, and you say that hello, this is my code, that kind of stuff, which I did in my previous lecture. So you can do that thing as well, right? Okay, so this was a step two. This was the only thing that you needed to do, step two, right? So first thing has been completed, how to use Linux in recipe, and recipe contains Ruby code. Okay, and in order to make you guys understand how to run one recipe from each cookbook, I have to create a diagram. But before creating that diagram, I'll first create another cookbook. Allow me to do that. I need to create one more cookbook. Chef, Generate, Chef Generate. This time, let's say Windows cookbook. Fine. I hope it is fine with you guys. Oh, again. My bad. I was giving you guys lecture to run the command, but I'm myself very bad. So Chef Generate cookbook and Windows cookbook. So guys, my Windows cookbook book has been generated, and onto that Windows cookbook, I am going to write Windows recipe. The same thing which I did right now. So just quickly go over there and generate a recipe. Chef generate recipe, and it should be this time Windows recipe. Simple. My Windows recipe got generated inside my Windows cookbook. If you want to see, use tree command. Tree command will tell you, it will give you tree like structure. You are onto this book, you are onto this particular page, and this page is now going to have some text on it. So we have to write that text. We will write that text going out of this particular page, right? I know in normal life we write onto that page, but since it is a Linux kind of thing, this is how it works. You go out of your uh, cookbook, and then you write, right? So the command for writing something was Windows. You need to go to your cookbook, go to the recipes folder, and Windows recipe.rb. You open it, you hit insert, and you write your piece of code, and that's it. What is my code doing over here? It will create a file named as my file one, and this is my content, what I want to display, and action is to create it, and end. And do means do this, right? Escape colon WQ. That's it. So guys, over here I have my two cookbooks ready, and each of my cookbook is containing some form of recipe, right? So there is a command. So you guys must be thinking that, let's say I want to run one recipe from this cookbook, one recipe from that cookbook. So you can do that, but first try to understand what I am trying to convey, right? This diagram won't help you guys. I need to create. I'm very bad at creating. I won't take much time. Clicking over here. That is, oh my god, Linux cookbook, right? This is your Linux cookbook, and Linux recipe one, and Linux recipe 2. The same thing. I'm good at copy pasting sometimes. Windows Cookbook. I'm using the same example that I've been using onto this particular lecture. Guys, till now we are doing the same thing. We have already done the same thing. I'm just trying to show you what we are going to do our next step. So this is my cookbook. Okay, Linux cookbook. If I want to run Linux recipe from this cookbook and Windows recipe from this cookbook, one from each, there can be n number of cookbooks and number of they would be having recipes, right? So if there are, I want to run this recipe from this cookbook, depending upon my will. I want to run recipe 2 for from Windows cookbook and recipe 3 from CentOS recipe 3 to CentOS cookbook. I can do that. So the command for that thing in order to do that is this one. You just have to execute everything, you have to prepare it, and you need to write like recipe, the name of your cookbook, your recipe, and comma, then recipe, your name of your cookbook, and the recipe. So this one already got executed, so this is not going to work. I'll what I'll do is that I'll create one more recipe onto my Linux machine. So why I'm saying that, because this recipe already got executed, so it won't be getting run and you guys won't be able to see any output. So this is why I'm going to create a one more recipe so that you are able to understand, right? So go to your Linux cookbook, do ls, do some tree. There is one Linux recipe, chef generate recipe Linux recipe 2, right? So now I have generated my another recipe. Okay, back from here, get out from that particular location again. We had to write onto that the recipe that I created, Linux recipe 2.rb, hit insert, enter, and now just copy, I'm just copy pasting the same code, but I'll just make some changes over here, right? So this time this is my file 2, and over here I'm writing Linux recipe 2, so that you guys know this is the same thing that got run, right? Escape colon wq, just get out of over here, do ls. Now you need to run. So what I'm going to do again, I'm going to run recipe 2 from this cookbook and recipe 2 or recipe 1 from this cookbook. So at the same time, I am choosing recipe on my own and just executing it. So the command for that is simple. We all have should have learned, chef client hyphen zr, and then the thing that you need to type it down is that the format. Inside this particular thing, you need to write your recipe and this. So this is the same. I hope we have done it. Your Linux book, and the recipe is Linux recipe 2, separated by a comma. Again, same thing, recipe, and then your Windows cookbook, Windows recipe. I don't, I'm forgetting the name of the recipe of the Windows, guys, over here. I think it was Windows. I'm very sorry. I'll just copy it. I need to check. Windows recipe. RECIP. That's it. Okay. Oh, there was some Windows RECIPE. It happened because I just hit entered by mistake. So again, I'm running this particular command. So you need to focus it. Chef client hyphen ZR, your recipes, and one from one, right? So over here, what has happened, guys? It got updated, and this one also got updated. So this is coming from this one is coming from my Linux recipe, and this one is coming from my Windows. So guys, I hope you are able to understand what I have done. So we have successfully completed our step 2 as well. We have run one recipe from one cookbook, one another recipe from another cookbook, right? And there is one command with the help of which you can run all the recipes from all the cookbooks. So there can be 5 recipes, right, from this book, 5 recipes from this book, and you can simply run it by using one simple line. But in order to run that, you just need to do one thing, that onto this particular default, you need to include those recipes onto this location of each and every cookbook. So what this default is all about, I'll quickly show you guys. But the only thing is that both the recipes have been run already. So again, I have to go ahead and create one Linux recipe 2 and Windows recipe, let's say 3, and then whatever would be over there, it will simply run. Okay, so this is the thing, I think, which may take a little bit of more time. And at this point of time, you guys can also do it. I think you guys should do it as a homework, and just let me know if you are able to do that. I can do it, and I will do it in front of you guys. But at this point of time, since it will take some time, and I do have some issues with my system, so won't be able to do. I can try, but again, I need to start from the scratch. So guys, just do one thing, create your machine and come to step 2. Till here, do not execute it again. Create a cookbook, create a recipe, put this particular code over there, and instead of doing one by one, or you can do it with the help of multiple recipes, try to execute the step 4, and it will be run exactly the way I have shown you guys. So this was all about, guys, this particular lecture. I know you guys can do it. It is very simple. I have done it in front of you guys within 10 to 15 minutes. The things are getting taking time. It's just because I'm also explaining you guys something, and this execution time also takes a little bit of seconds, right? So guys, this was all about this particular lecture. I hope you guys have enjoyed the lecture, and let me know if you are able to do this particular sort of homework kind of stuff. If not, I'll do it again in front of you guys. Okay. So guys, thank you for attending my lecture. Thank you. Thanks a lot.